What's up, guys? Welcome to The Reload. My name's Cody Luongo, and this is your home for competitive Counter-Strike. We're live from UGC Studios. As always, Thursday, it's 2 p.m., and we are live in the house. As always, we got the Twitch chat rolling, so if you guys are in here, have some questions, fire them away. We got some good Counter-Strike to look into. Definitely some news to touch on in terms of transfers. A huge narrative around ESL Pro League Season 8 finals happening right now. Liquid winning their first LAN tournament. And also a potential CSGO dev update. So let's get right into the action, right? We'll bring in our first guest, maybe more of a resident co-host as he's came to become. He's an American Counter-Strike player, commentator, coach, analyst. He's been in the game for a long time. Let's see him. It's Erik Stromberg, baby.
What's up, dog? How you doing? How you doing, Cody?
I'm A+, man. I'm 100+ extra credit points right now.
That's
incredible.
Great. Sure.
Amazing.
Yeah,
How are you?
You have to always get extra credit just in case you mess up on a test in the future. You have some cushion to fall back on. You're planning ahead. That's smart. That's great.
I learned
like
from
your
the best.
background too. Look at that. Is that new too? Your background?
Look at that.
Or was that there last week?
No, we changed that. That's the graphic every time, and you just see our guest's special face, special guest's beautiful face.
I see sound reflectors. I don't even know what those things are called. Sound absorbers. I'm not in sound, guys. I don't know these things.
Sound. I like sound reflectors. I'm gonna stick with that.
Sounds so stupid, but anyways.
That's good for me.
Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome to you, my friend. Obviously, we've got a special guest today, possibly ruined by the screen behind me. He was a former Halo professional. Young man who's been competing for quite a while now. As I mentioned, in Halo at first, played for Straight Rippin' and Team Cryptic, and now competes in the ESEA under Team Sad Boys. His name is Hunter Baby Schline. Let's bring him in.
Baby Schline.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Emphasis on the shala.
Great.
Doing good, man. How are you?
Doing good. A little bit less stressed now that my season is done.
That's good.
Counter-Strike is a stressful game, so finally getting some color back into my face.
Yeah. You're looking like you're playing for Ghost Gaming right now, right?
Yeah.
Just going super pale. Well, thanks for joining us on the show, obviously, Hunter. We really appreciate you coming on. And I think you got an interesting story being a former Halo pro and then making the switch over to COD. I think that's quite a cool story. And the guys, myself and the guys on our team, are huge Halo fans. And also with that, you see it's still rare, but I feel like it's a little bit more common today to see players switching the games that they compete in, right? And having like skills transfer across a little bit of that. So I want to ask you, can you tell me a little bit about your professional roots in Halo and how you became interested in competing in Counter-Strike?
Yeah, so in Halo, I started like through FFA, like by myself. It was a struggle at first, but once I finally got to my opportunity started opening up where I got to play with better people, I really started to like strive, and like my individual skill was there, and I was willing to open my mind up on how to play the game at a professional level. And I think that's really helped me with CS. Now I'm going kind of backwards, like starting over, like I'm going from a professional level in Halo to amateur in CS. So there's some flaws where like I have to deal with amateur mentality again, like, you know what I mean? Like egos and stuff, and that was an issue at pro level 2, but it wasn't as bad as it is now. But I know it's just one of those things you have to get through if you want to become a professional at a game. And I mean, honestly, anything like sports too, you just have to get through that. And it's working out good so far.
So you're telling me that there's like this process between the mentality going from an amateur to pro, and now you're having to start over from scratch, kind of, right?
Yes, it's a struggle.
Yeah.
I got a question on that kind of mentality, actually. Since, you became a pro player in Halo, you come back kind of you're almost doing the same thing with Counter-Strike Go. Are you applying the same method as you did with Halo to CS:GO, or is there like a little adjustment in terms of, because when you get to a pro level, it's a mentality thing. Yeah, there's mechanics, there's other stuff that's different from game to game, but in terms of just that competitive, you want to be at the top. Is that the same kind of mentality as it's from Halo? Is it a little different?
Counter-Strike is way harder, but even though it's way harder, there is so many more tools in Counter-Strike to get good at the game. And like, you have like DM servers, execute servers, and like my issue right now is experience, like, and
Hmm.
just the basic knowledge of the game. Like I can shoot my gun, and that I'll get better at that like through playing and DMing. But like these kids that I'm playing with, I'm in main right now, and they
Hmm.
have like 3,000 to 6,000 hours. I'm at 1,000, so like I really have to like. I honestly don't think I'm working hard enough, nearly hard
Hmm.
enough, because it's just so much catching up. But um, yeah, I think even though it's hard, it's more enjoyable, honestly, to get better at this game. Just because I'm not like with Halo, I was just sitting around waiting to scrim. With this, I'm always doing something. Like
Yeah,
it's
that's
enjoyable.
good. Yeah,
How would
I
you
was going to
just
say,
go on,
go ahead.
Bears?
Go ahead.
No,
No, go ahead.
no,
You
you.
first.
No.
I wrote mine down. I wrote mine down. Go ahead. If you have something, I'll ask it right after you. Go
Oh, I'm
ahead.
just saying, like, how would you? And I'm sorry for just, and we're firing questions at you, but I'm genuinely
No,
interested. Is how would you
I'm
describe
curious.
maybe the skill, I guess, skill gap between the differences between Halo and Counter Strike? Especially Counter Strike is a game that's so much more widely played in terms of player base and things, and the number of strategies in Counter Strike, I feel like, is and just like overall encompassing in the game is much more comprehensive than Halo. I could be completely wrong, but I mean,
yeah.
what do you think?
No, I think you're right. Um, Individual skill doesn't nearly shine in Halo as much as it like, or in CS:GO as much as it did in Halo. Like in Halo, you could have like a player just completely take over, and CS is kind of the same thing, but like you really like the depth that's in this game is insane, and I think it kind of plays better into me. Like I don't think I was that that star player in Halo.
Hmm.
Always I was doing injective for the most part. Like I would have like a lot of assists, and that is also helping me in my role in Counter-Strike because I was a support rifler for my team.
Hmm.
And I, you know, it's it's a hard game.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, yeah. You're probably doing a lot of the dirty work. It's pretty similar in CS where a lot of people are stat whores, and you probably
Oh my
experience this a lot
God.
being in Maine, playing in pugs, especially. As you said, amateur mentality. They're all about the stats, and that's what really sets back a lot of teams because you could go to Maine, you could go to Mountain Dew League or whatever, and a lot of these players are really skilled players. They can aim, they can shoot, but their in-game mentality and how you have to work as a team to plant the bomb or to kill every opponent. It takes certain roles and certain timings that you can't just run out and wide swing everything. That's not how it works at higher levels. People will punish you. I think that's one of the biggest learning curves for a lot of these amateur teams who they got the skill, but their timing's off. Their working together is really off, and it's a huge disconnect from the pro CS to amateur CS. The gap is so big in terms of mentality. It kind of blows my mind how ego even plays into this when like these players can't look at their own team and like, wow, we're really bad. It's not even how to do anything, but
Yeah.
it that doesn't process with a lot of these people. So I'm curious in just how just just the mentality and like the mechanics and everything is just it's so much harder at a lower level, and it's just it takes a lot of work, and I really think that, people can be playing that a little better at the amateur level, less ego,
Yeah.
more playing. I'm always about the ego and this kind of stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
it's I'm sure you have to go through that all the
No,
time.
you're completely right. And like ADR is everything. You look at teams' posts, like when they're looking for a player, it's like you have to have 100 ADR and, this level of experience. It's like like as a support rifler, I've been told as a support rifler, you're supposed to have high ADR, like because you're trading your entry fraggers. But at the same time, at this low level, like my entry fragger was nuts. Like the kid knew
Mm-hmm.
how to get kills anytime we were executing a site, but everything else he like blew at. Like if you
Yeah.
told him to throw a smoke, he was like, where? Like I don't know the lineup. And
Mm.
this guy had like on my team, he had like 90 ADR like every game, and but he wasn't like winning us games, and but people will look at his stats and be like, that's who I want to pick up, and they'll look at my stats and they'll be like, what is this kid doing for the
Yeah.
team? He's anchoring. And then I don't think I deserve anything for like I know I need to get like better at this game. Like I know I'm not nearly at the level I need to be, but I just wish I had um I wish I could just soak in like playing with professionals, and I because that's just the quickest way to get good. Just
Mm-hmm.
like playing
Play the
around them,
best.
like yeah.
Play the best.
And
Practice against the best. It's the only way to do it.
it's gonna be a struggle, like I said, at the amateur level because all they care about is stats, and I don't know if I
I'm in
picked
the
the
same
right
boat.
role to come up in this game. Like I've been told like opping's probably the quickest way to come up, but like I w
Yeah.
that's who I was in Halo. I was a support player. Like I want to do that. That's like I like winning. I don't care what it like costs. I just want to win, you know?
Yeah. That's the hard part about the team game is like finding the recipe for that success. As you said, you're playing a support player. You need to do. I mean, you have to have players around you that are on the same page with you, and that's what's so great about professional level. That everyone kind of has a great idea on what needs to happen in order to win. And then it's even crazier at the higher top games where you're trying to find that 1%, that little opening to hand you the edge. And yeah, I mean, you make a very valid point that it's a lot more difficult to be a support player trying to rise up through the ranks because you have to rely on other people. You have to make sure that they're in the right spot or, you're flash right. So it's a hard game. It's a hard game. You have to have 5
To touch
players that
up,
are dedicated, just like you.
yeah. To touch up on what you said too, I forgot to mention this, but like at the amateur level, people have so many other things going on in their lives. Like people weren't getting on for practice because of school, which is understandable because they're not getting
Mm-hmm.
paid to play right now. Um, but these guys on my team are actually like better than me, but they won't ever go pro because they aren't sacrificing the time that they need. Like I'm not going to school right now. I graduated
Mm-hmm.
from high school and immediately like became a professional at Halo, and I was getting paid, so I was like, all right, this is going good.
Mm-hmm.
But the lifespan of Halo was obviously dying, and I was like, I need to do something quick because I want to be playing games for the rest of my life, or as long as I can. And Halo's just not going to give me that benefit. So like a lot of these people aren't sacrificing, and that's what you have to do to become a professional in a game. You have to sacrifice hanging out with your friends, a semester of school or something, unless you're really good at
Yeah,
balancing.
a lot of
But
sacrifice.
No
yeah,
doubt. Yeah, that's like the pro gamer path. It's unless you're some sort of prodigy and get picked up early. I mean, I don't really think anyone
yeah,
gets to avoid that stage of grinding and sacrifice. Probably as like the ecosystem develops over time and there's like, leagues for like I imagine one day there's going to be like U9 leagues or like stuff that we had for soccer when I was growing up for esports or something like that, and that'll
yeah.
probably be like the way through that. But I have a question for you, Hunter, and I've seen this kind of notion like watching Shotzi, who's a Halo pro, obviously you would know that, playing Black Ops 4, and you can see some of like his techniques and mechanics cross over to Black Ops. Do you find similarities in that regard playing CS, as in, you know, some of the mechanics and just way of thinking that you had in Halo now introduced to CS? Do you find any of that overlap or crossover?
I feel like movement is Halo 2 Counter-Strike is very it clashes. Like you go from moving all the time and shooting to basically like standing still, you know.
Right.
So that the mechanics part doesn't really transfer over, unfortunately. But the like thinking, I noticed a lot of teams that I've played with and just pugging as well, like people don't know how to play and talk. Like they're just so focused on themselves and they don't care anything else that's happening on the map. And that's why also it's probably so hard to find IGLs nowadays, is because you have all these like young people, you know, just like on caffeine, just so focused on like taking every aim duel and, you know, winning every fight. And like God, what was I gonna say? I'm lost in my thought.
What
Yeah,
about
so
okay, go on.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like to your point as well. What about maybe like mentality in terms of aggressiveness, things like that? Because obviously, yeah, you're right. Counter-Strike and Halo are mechanically completely different games.
Yeah. So the thought of like being as a support role in Halo has helped me, and I think it's also going to help me if like I switch to an IGL role as well, because I can talk and play at the same time. Like I don't have to like focus to like play good. Like I can see my teammates on the map and like coordinate something that's going on. And that'll probably help me like sculpt me as a player in the future of Counter-Strike, just like using those you know, pros of being a support in Halo to Counter-Strike.
Right on. I think that's super interesting. Well, you know,
So I got lost there just thinking about all the pugs that I've had to deal with.
Yeah.
Like kids just I was just so frustrated.
I mean, I think it's right. I think it's pretty similar. Like FPS to FPS, it's the same. It's a different game, as you said, mechanically, but it's same principles apply to FPS games throughout all FPSs. You know, like anticipation of someone, the hidden kind of explosion of a strat, or like surprising people, a lot of bait switches. I mean, it's a lot of things that just apply to all FPSs. So it's just like I can see how one person from FPS can jump to other FPSs, because it's a lot of similar kind of mechanics in terms of anticipation and the mental part of the game.
Yeah, I like your point about
mode.
thinking Hunter as well. And to yours, Bears, yeah, I think FPS in general has a lot of similarities, right? It's a lot less jarring than going from like Halo to StarCraft or Counter-Strike to World of Warcraft. That's something that I doubt we've ever seen.
I suck at League of Legends. Let me tell you that. FPS to like that kind of game, I suck. I'm like hard stuck gold. It's terrible. But
it's hard to watch, in all honesty, for me. So, and yeah, you see a lot of like, it's just like, I can't get over the fact, not necessarily, but that Halo is just so different than Counter-Strike. When you, especially like in my example earlier, when you think about like Shotzi playing Black Ops 4, like you have a lot of those same mechanics that are present.
It's not that big of a switch room, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So
he's doing well right now.
Yeah, definitely. He's got that, he had that prime Halo movement, and to see it in Black Ops is like, it's so sweet. It's so like gratifying to watch. So let's go ahead and move into some of the news. Hunter will stop firing questions down your throat. Yeah, lasers. We have a little bit of roster movement. Refresh off the top, leaving Fragsters. 20-year-old Dane was the second to leave the org as of recent, following Bubsky. one thing to note, the player contracts expire at the end of the year, so the future is possibly uncertain for Fraxers. Not really sure. Last I heard is that a lot of the players are trying to find a different org to pick them up now after this.
Well, if you want to, actually, I think this was announced either today or yesterday.
Update
he's
me.
going to be filling in. He's going to be filling in for Cloud9 at the
Ooh.
Istanbul. He's going to be taking over Golden because Golden has been having a lot of health issues.
What's up with
I
this?
believe I think he mentioned his heart is messed up or
dear.
something. Like, I don't know. It's like heart or stomach, which is really messed up, and he can't travel because of stress. Like, if he has too much stress in his life, which, I mean, how can you be a pro gamer at this point now if stress? You can't
Yeah.
even travel from airplane from stress. You can't imagine being a professional gamer in stress. So Golden, I don't know. You might have a really grim future here unless they figure something out,
Some
with his
yoga or
medical
something.
condition. Yeah, do something. He has to do something different because he's missed the last 2 or 3 events in a row because of health issues. And so C9, it looks like they're in desperate mode of trying to find players to even field a consistent 5. I think it's been almost a complete year since C9 even had a consistent 5 for every tournament. Like, they've had a ringer or replacement, I think, almost every single tournament. At least it feels that way. And so it doesn't look good for C9. They've been blowing so much money. But I guess you get one person to fill in for Golden.
It's been a while for Cloud9. I mean, hey, like, it'll be good to see refresh on the squad. It's sad that Cloud9 can't get a stable roster, but it sounds like he's telling me it's his heart. That does not sound something to play around with.
Yeah, it's pretty serious stuff, so that's why he's been kind of not traveling a lot lately.
It also shows you how detrimental roster switches are in this game. Like, especially at the pro level, you're having tournaments every weekend. It's like, we need to make a change, but should we stick around with this player for a little bit longer and risk, placing bad these next 3 tournaments?
Exactly. It seems like the sooner you can nail down that roster, it's the better. I mean, that almost seems obvious, right?
Yeah, even if you come prepared on the roster, knowing the roles that you have to take and what flash and nades, it's still that timing that you have to feel out when you play the game, when you practice with the team, when you play against other players at that caliber. It's just everything's different than on paper. So you got to feel it out. You kind of have to, mix your play style around with, what the team wants. And sometimes you could fit right in and just take off. It's rare, but it can happen.
Yeah.
And then other times it takes time. It takes maybe weeks, maybe even months to kind of get something clicking to where you're competing against the best of the best. Yeah, you could probably beat average teams, above average teams by just hopping in, but if you're playing against, MIBR, playing against Astralis, you need every advantage you can get, and the roster changes is very detrimental and it holds people back, and in achieving that high level of CS that you need to play to compete.
I couldn't ask for a better segue into this next topic, which is a team that has made another change based off a health issue and has arguably taken some time to find that form right, and that is that MIBR will be fielding Swag at the Blast Pro Series in Lisbon. Obviously, in light of Fur's upcoming surgery, team is fielding the Swole Patrol member at BPS Lisbon. Now, MIBR has been obviously picking up a lot of steam recently, so this is, I wouldn't say the ideal situation for them in Lisbon. Also, fun fact that I happened to notice on Wikipedia was that Swag is Valve banned for match fixing.
For life.
That is
For life.
Yeah, that one hurts.
Yeah, he's been playing a lot, and so he's been trying to make a comeback. He was playing on Swole, or he's still playing on Swole Patrol. He was on Torqued, I believe, 6 months ago, something like that.
Yeah.
And it's I think playstyle wise, he fits probably the best for Fur in terms of just kind of Fur's more of like a loose cannon. He does more of a random kind of play style for MIBR, kind of find information. I think that'd help Brax in his play style. He could play more by himself. He could be lurker. He could just kind of do his own thing and not really hinder MIBR's strats that much. So I think it's a good play style just to have him ring. At least,
In and out of game, I mean, Yeah, in and out of game, those guys like Swag Tarek and Stewie seem like really good friends, and I think
Hmm.
they honestly are looking forward to playing with them. I don't think it's gonna stop them really at all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
those are
that's
good
also true.
points. They have that bit of pre-established chemistry right in that roster.
Exactly, yeah.
Lisbon is there's a lot of good teams playing in Lisbon. I don't know off the top of my head. What is it? Astralis, FaZe, Fnatic, Navi, something like that.
Looking this up right now.
Pretty.
Blast is FaZe, Navi, NIP, MIBR, Cloud9, and Astralis. So Cloud9 is probably the only kind of team at the moment,
Right.
just
Yeah.
because of what's happening with them and just chaos in that camp. But otherwise, it's a pretty high tier tournament. Every team has potential to win it. Obviously, everyone's looking to Astralis to win it, but you never know. They might let loose here. He's coming before Christmas. Who knows what's going to happen? But I mean, I don't expect Astralis to falter right now. At least not until next year. Because get some time off,
They're just so
relax,
strong.
let other teams catch up, that kind of thing. Yeah, they're way too good. Their teamwork is the best right now. Individual skills, all top. Like 5 of their players or all their players are probably top 15 in the world. Like I could put them comfortably top 15 in the world.
Mhm.
You can fit anyone in the Strauss players, depending on the day or whatever. They're just so amazing, and so that's I can't see them losing that at all.
No way. We talked about this last week, Bears. It's just that you simply cannot go against Astralis because
Yeah.
You can't.
I
They
don't give you a reason
can't
to.
bring
They're
the
just
words out of my
so-
mouth anymore. You know what I mean? Like I'm for the upset, the underdog, but now I just can't. It won't. I can't process it. I can't say it. I can't speak it. Nothing.
As Peter would say, it's we're feeding a horse, right?
What the hell
You
does
guys
that
see
mean?
But so
Explain that.
PETA released a picture of what to say instead of saying so for example, it's like beating a dead horse. I'd use that term there.
Okay,
They put
yeah.
instead of saying beat a dead horse, you feed a horse.
I see.
And stuff
I
like
see.
that. There's a whole bunch of quotes on there. People are making fun of it, so there's my little jab.
I like that. So you're powering the beast basically.
Feed,
Is
yes,
that
we're
what-
powering it. Feed a horse. We're not beating no dead horse. We're feeding the horse. Okay, I can't even
Keeping it
afford a
healthy,
horse.
yeah. Well-oiled machine.
$10,000 a month. You think I afford a horse? No way. Get out of here. Do a better job. Let's go.
I like that. I'm gonna try to implement that into my daily routine, saying that. Spread the word for you, Bears.
Thank you.
Next up in the news is that here's a good one. Is that Liquid won Supernova finally? Right, they finally won in Malta. Was it last weekend? I believe. I think so.
Yeah.
They beat NRG twice. I think it was 2-0 in the grand finals, and they actually pulled off a pretty stellar comeback on Inferno, I think it was, and Big on the way. So they finally got their LAN win, which is huge for them. Probably not the one they were hoping for, right? Because yeah, the skill pool of teams was not of the highest caliber, but definitely one that they needed, I'd say.
Yeah, it's definitely a confidence booster for them, knowing that, hey, we don't get second place at every single tournament we attend. So getting a win in their belt is definitely a positive thing. So, but NRG, some part of the org, gotta toss in some notes on that.
Plug them.
They haven't been playing too hot lately. They got to the finals, but they're almost kind of sliding in Team Liquid kind of play style where they do so well, and all of a sudden they kind of drop the ball in high-profile matches. It's not their usual play style. They're playing a lot weaker than they should be playing. Talk about Energy, who's beaten FaZe in the best of 3 series when FaZe was good. This is not. I mean, FaZe is still good. Don't get me wrong, but they're kind of slumping a little bit. But they beat FaZe when they're doing pretty well, and so that sparked a lot of eyes and turned a lot of heads. But lately, since then, they do well. They get deep in the tournament, and then they just kind of fall off the place. You saw they didn't show up against Team Liquid at Malta, really, in my opinion. And then they just lost to Ghost at ESL 2-1. Now, granted, Ghost is a pretty solid team. I do think that maybe Energy is a slight favorite. I think they are individually a bit better than Ghost Gaming. But maybe Ghost Gaming has probably better teamwork. I have to maybe do more demo review and kind of figure that out for sure. But it's a little. They just kind of figure out what's wrong. Cirque said not too long ago that his confidence is not as high as when they're winning a lot. His confidence is losing. So is it an internal thing? Is it just a result of the grind, and the mentality is affecting you? It's something they got to figure out if they want to start winning tournaments instead of getting second or third place or whatnot.
Yeah, Energy's been looking super strong, but also Ghost has been looking good. They nearly took Navi to the limit in the lower bracket of the ESL Pro League. So they lost 2-1, won the first game on Inferno 16-11, and then lost in overtime on Train 19-16, and then obviously lost the third map. But Ghost has been looking good. I give it up, and I'm a big fan of James and his coaching style, and just sort of the way he manages his players, both preparing them on the game side and then emotionally, as we've talked many times, Bears, mentally managing your players, making sure they're healthy physically and emotionally going into a match, feeling good, because if you don't feel good, you don't play good. You miss your shots.
It's true.
You need those headshots to be on point.
It's a huge mental thing, and James is definitely a mental kind of guy.
In what sense?
He's eccentric, but he's smart. He's very intelligent. He's determined and passionate, and those are great things to have as a coach. And I think he's doing a wonderful job. He's pretty much turned around Ghost. Last season, I think before this one, they're kind of on the brink of, getting relegated in EPL and ECS kind of thing. And we had a roster change with Teal coming on, and as well as Akusta and them. And actually, Akusta I think joined. I know there's been so many roster changes this year. I'm losing it, but Steele joining Ghost, James and the rest kind of helping out with Sub Rosa. They've been doing a lot better, and so it's good to see that they have a solid foundation. They just have to work on that.
No doubt.
I think they're only going to get better knowing Steele's mentality. It's like, to us it seems good that they almost beat Navi, right? And maybe in Steele's mind right now, he's like, I'm not satisfied. I have to make this team work harder. So I'm really excited to see their future. I think they have a bright one.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Hunter, in terms of everything considered, the team, the players, and obviously the coaching. That Ghost is on the horizon of some big things, I'd say. I mean, maybe not even that, but they can only get better, right?
Yeah.
C9 kind of stepping down. In terms of not only skill, but being an American team, North American team, they're just mixing up any roster they could find, European, whatever. And so, North American teams, there's new teams stepping up. There's Ghost, there's NRG. They're stepping up. They're playing big other than Team Liquid. So it's great to see, different orgs coming to the light and different players practicing hard and making them big. I really like to see that. It's really good for the community as well.
No doubt. So real quick, we don't spend a lot of time on this, but there possibly a new update coming up soon, as the CSGO devs have been teasing at. To see these two tweets definitely riled me up. I think everyone's a little upset about this, getting our hopes up on Wednesday and then breaking us down.
There's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of speculation with, I don't know, Battle Royale, CSGO, new stuff. I don't know what's happening. Just a lot of rumors going around. So I'm not holding my breath yet. There was rumor of a CSGO battle, BR CSGO last year when PUBG came out. I saw screenshots and pictures of someone already made their own easy cheat mod of it. Just a simple CSGO battle royale. I say simple, but I wouldn't be surprised if Valve maybe picked that up, because I haven't heard anything since, which is kind of weird. If you have a BR, which BR is hot, you probably see it pushed out, being announced, and at least know about it. But it's been kept under tight wraps. It hasn't been released. There's no more news on it, so I'm thinking maybe Valve took it under and kind of try to develop it in a way to where maybe they can make it marketable or make it a big thing. That'd be pretty cool. But who knows? BR's kind of played out, in my opinion. It's fun, casual. It's fun for a casual guys. It's a casual fun.
It
Casual.
gets the streamers, the big streamers, to bring viewership to your game, as we've seen in COD. In all
Yeah,
reality,
that's true.
unfortunately, I mean, I would like to play like a CSBR every now and then, not every day, but yeah,
Yeah.
because I
It's for
agree,
fun. Yeah, I
BRs
wouldn't
are
mind playing
played
it.
out. But in
Mechanics
reality, I
there.
think, yeah, I don't think it's that gonna be that big of an update. One thing I would be looking forward to though is the fix on smokes. Like, I know right now that you can obviously mess with your NVIDIA settings and whatnot, but that if you look at a smoke and someone's on the other side, a red dot like shows up in the radar, and I feel like a good fix for that, um, would be to, you know, when you're like watching a match from a spectator point of view and a smoke grenade goes down on the radar
Mm-hmm.
and you can see it like bloom.
Right.
Mhm.
I feel like it would be good if they did that too, where it just like blocks off your entire radar in game while you're playing. And I think that would probably fix like seeing through the smoke, because it's just being way too abused right now.
It's
As
broken.
you see
It's
with
way too
people
abused and
complaining
broken.
about
It's dumb.
Astralis. Yeah. I mean, the fact that
It's-
like anyone can do it, it's just, it hinders smoke grenades so much.
Yeah, and the thing with smoke grenades, I hope they fix the radar thing. I hope that can be fixed. They mentioned years ago, because there's always been a smoke bug with CS:GO.
Yeah.
It's to where you could toss a smoke, you could throw a decoy or nade behind it, Molotov behind it, and it looks like you could see almost clearly through it. You could see shadows of enemies, and that's always been a problem. But the problem with that is, it's a flaw in their engine itself. And I don't know.
Yeah.
They said that they cannot fix that kind of smoke bug back then. I don't know if they could change it now, or they're just saying kind of some kind of bullshit so they don't have to put in all the work. Who knows? But they say it's an engine problem, and I'm not sure if that's something to be fixed with this current engine of CS:GO. So maybe they figure something out. Maybe they're changing the engine a little bit so they can fix it. That'd be great. You know, there's a lot of possibilities. I hope they can do that, because abusing smoke
It's
is
just-
really detrimental.
It's exhausting seeing like two good teams like playing, and all of a sudden someone just gets like a 2K like through the smoke and completely shuts down the round. It's like, well, we just waited all this action for them defaulting and whatnot for someone just to get a 2K through the smoke. It's like, I mean,
Yeah, it's a
it's
game
not-
changer.
it's not
All you
very
need is that
visually-
sometimes.
it's not visually pleasing to watch, honestly. You know, just like
You're
seeing,
rooting for
like,
that team.
games. Yeah.
Breaks
I
you
agree.
down, breaks your spirits. It's getting clipped through that.
Ruins the game.
Let's talk about the ESL Pro League Finals Season 8 playoffs happening right now. This tournament has been super hype. I honestly don't know where to start. Obviously, like the biggest thing that's been on my mind the last couple of weeks is this narrative around Australis right now and their ability to win this event for $750K, as well as the Intel Grand Slam, as is the last stop, and then just on their home soil, right, in Denmark, in Odense. Can you imagine? Can
It's
you
just-
fathom the scenario?
I mean, they've been playing well. They're already in the semifinals. They're going to play the winner of Renegades and Mouse Sports, so that's a plus for them. Renegades, actually, they're a little shaky these last couple weeks, but they managed to make the quarterfinals of EPL. So I would think that Mouse Sports is going to roll Renegades, and then it should be a good game. Like Mouse Sports have been playing really hot this tournament. They kind of bombed out at ECS, but right now they're playing really, really good.
Mhm.
And so they might give Astralis a run for their money. But either way, I think the best teams so far are making it. I mean, I think other than Renegades, these are the best teams. I think the tournament played out pretty well, with maybe the exception of who would maybe put an NRG for Renegades, or even a Ghost or North. I think either one of those would probably be a more consistent fit. But
Right.
again,
Yeah.
you got MIBR, Liquid, Navi, Mouse Sports, and Astralis. You know, those are probably considered top 5-6 best teams in the world right now. So it's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I mean, Australis, it was like you could either go either way. I mean, not that they have ever been known to crack under any sort of pressure, right? But just the whole feeling of someone stealing this away from them, just, it would be
The
heartbreaking.
underdog finally beats them. Yeah.
On this stage, could you imagine?
It would
That would
be-
be the one. That would be the one.
It would be
Yeah.
terrible. It would be absolutely terrible for Australis, but actually really, really good for the CS:GO community in general. So, I mean, where did you cut it? Really, I think it'd be really good if Australis lose. Just the fact that people are bored of Australis, which is kind of crazy to say because they're so
Yeah.
innovative. That we've learned stuff, how they play, teamwork. They're literally the model to go after if you want to improve teamwork. They're literally the model. So
Yeah.
people, they're tired of seeing one team win it consistently. So they like the drama, the differences. Oh, Australis lose the Grand Slam. What's going to happen? Kind of sparks them. I think it'd be better for the community if that would happen.
Yeah, to your point, Bears, and I never really thought of it like that, oddly enough, is that in a way, I feel like Australis is going to raise the caliber of the CS Pro circuit as a whole, right? So it's like if someone wants to beat them, if we have multiple teams that are able to contest them at this level, everyone's going to have to, pick it the hell up. And like we're going to have to get to that level. So I feel like it's going to create like this new atmosphere around being at the very tip of the Counter-Strike kingdom, so to speak. I don't know why I decided to say that like that, phrase it, but
Kingdom. It's the
the kingdom.
I agree.
I'm
Uplift.
definitely tired
Uplift.
of turning on a stream and seeing Australis just dumpstering people. So I mean, I hope this is a tournament someone actually steps up and dethrones them, because like Bear said, I think it'll be really good for the community. Yeah, like you always want to see a game evolve to the highest level, just most enjoyable CS to watch. I think they've done that already. It's just about, the time of them finally losing, I think, is what everyone's looking forward to at this point.
Yeah, because it's stale in a way.
Exhausting.
Yeah, it's stale to see them on the winner's podium at every tournament. But looking at this one in playoffs, I think Mouse Renegades are certainly two teams that Australis can beat. Mouse is probably the only one that, out of the two that I would say could better contest them. If I was Australis, you got to keep an eye on the other side of the bracket, right? Liquid, Navi, and MIBR. But MIBR is another team to talk about because they're looking really, really strong at this event. And last week or the week before, they beat Australis in the group stage of, what event was it? I can't remember off the top of my head.
Which was it?
There's
I can't remember. There's so
They
many.
beat them.
Was it ECS?
I saw a tweet, I
Yes,
just don't know which
ECS.
one.
Right, yeah. It was ECS Season 6. Beat them in the group stage and then narrowly missed their opportunity to beat them in the grand finals.
Yeah. It's close. It's MIBR. They're going to definitely have a chip on their shoulder, especially from that tournament. So that's why I think they're playing pretty good right now. They found something that worked for them at the ECS tournament, and then they're like, all right, this is working. This is good. So they're going to ride off that wave. And again, they're already in the semifinals for the EPL. So they finally found their niche, with Stewie and Tarek, and everything's kind of clicking in together. So we'll see if they'll be able to ride this out and possibly upset Australis in the finals, because they are destined to meet in the finals if everything goes the way, if MIBR and Australis wins out, they will meet in the finals again.
Sure, it will be hype. It's going to be hype. I'm pumped for it. So, trying to look at the match that's coming up. Obviously, Mouse and Renegades tomorrow. If we can pull that up, I made this cheeky little graphic that I like.
Oh, nice.
And I guess you don't have to take this down, Tony, but the bug is blocking the time, which would be having a good laugh over here. It is that's at 8:30 CT. And then next would obviously be Liquid Navi. So what are you guys thinking about this matchup here? Navi little shaky as of recently, right? I mean, I thought they were going to even be eliminated by Ghost. Any tournament appearance they've had in like the last month has been, they've had a pretty premature exit based off what you would expect. And, Liquid obviously coming off their Malta win and just consistently getting better in general. Who do you think is taking this one? If you guys had to pin a winner.
Whew, that's a tough one.
I would think Liquid, but I mean I only say that because if Simple's not hard carrying Navi, because I always think like I don't know, Simple's just hard carries the team, man. Like there's just nothing else to say. I feel like I mean that just I might be completely like wrong if someone actually like knows what's going on with that team, but I wish Simple got off that team and got like some actual like teammates because it's just a struggle watching them sometimes, man. But I think the better team overall is Liquid, yeah.
Yeah, Navi's been struggling ever since their Blast Pro series at Copenhagen. They've been really bombing out, and they lost to United 16-6. They lost to Big twice. Yeah. Actually, they lost Big 4 times recently. So it kind of shows you Big, they're a very methodical, strat-heavy team. They like to counter strat. That kind of shows you if they're losing to Big consistently like that, it means there's something wrong probably with their strategies, their game plan's not up to point. As you said before, Simple literally carries the team most of the time with Electronic also helping. So if one of them is off point,
Electronic's really good.
They almost lose the game. They almost lose. Yeah. They pretty much lose the game in terms of just fragging power because if one of them have an off game, they don't have the complex strats or timings to really outmaneuver teams. They rely on slow play. Let's pick off a war of attrition where they're going to wait out nades. We have more nades than you, so when we execute, you can't counter us. That's literally their game plan in a nutshell. And yes, it works sometimes. It works pretty well against a lot of lower end teams for sure, but at the higher mid level, you can't do that every single time. And Navi's look like they've been punished a lot. And I think the only reason they even beat Ghost is because I think Ghost more of dropped the ball than Navi outplaying them. Obviously, you look at the stats, you see Simple with plus 36, so that definitely helps. Again, we're talking about Simple top fragging, just carrying games. That's how Navi wins. You have to do better than that at this high level. So against Liquid, they have a lot of strategies. They have different ways of taking multiple site hits. They have 2-3 ways of taking A of almost every map, and B, like they have so much different strategies and techniques, which is sometimes is the downfall of Liquid. I think this time around, I think Liquid has the edge over Navi. Navi's been playing really bad. They almost lost to Order, I believe, the random team at the Pro League or whatever. So they just barely beat them. I think Liquid's going to have the edge. I think Liquid's going to finally beat Navi at this quarterfinal, semifinal thing. And so I think Liquid's going to take it. I think Liquid's going to take it if they don't choke.
I'm on board with that. I think this would be a big win for Liquid. Yeah, right. If they don't choke, Bears. I hate saying it, but it's so true. It's like they should nickname Simple the Backpack because, and it pains me to say it because a team just shouldn't operate like that. But it's almost like Simple is so good that he's going to be carrying any team he's on, or you would assume. But then again, like you picture, Simple fitting into the Astralis lineup somewhere, right? It's like that wouldn't happen. Because he has like this consistent.
You can only have like one star player,
Right.
There's only room for,
I'm on board with that. Liquid over Navi. If you guys had to pin a winner for this one before we move on, who's your money on? Who are you going with?
Liquid,
yeah.
I mean, I'm talking overall.
You talking?
Yeah.
Pro League,
like we said,
this event,
lobby,
number
like
one
you said
title
earlier,
finish.
It's hard to go against Astralis, so I would have to say them. But I'm crossing my fingers someone takes them down. Yeah.
I think last week I chose MIBR to win this one. Right?
You did. Are you sticking with that?
Okay. MIBR. I'm gonna say they're gonna.
Well, yeah, I would love to
make
see
Astralis.
MIBR Astralis final.
I mean, I would love to see it, but most likely, I mean, home soil Astralis, very big uphill Mount Everest climb. But hey, I think if MIBR can do this, end the year on a high note, that will just, I think, it'll make MIBR way better in terms of comfortability. Tarek and Stewie won't be worried about their job the entire winter break if they fail. So it's all good. Like, it'll be really good for that camp. They managed to beat Astralis.
So this is where I'm at. I feel like Astralis is Liquid's kryptonite. Like, they just cannot get past them in a best of 3 setting. It just doesn't happen. That's too much game. In Liquid is this team that plays so much around like their mental, like what is happening in the game, like what's the score line, and then if things are looking like shit or going to shit for them, they are crashing and burning at like a meteoric rate. And that's something that you can't have when you're playing against Astralis. So I think I would like to see MIBR Astralis in the grand finals. I think Liquid might be able to beat MIBR, but I'd rather see that Astralis MIBR grand final because I think that'll be closer. And I'm definitely going with Astralis, but on par with Hunter. I am.
Safe pick.
I know. I'm definitely open to seeing the upset in that setting there with MIBR. So,
yeah.
What's up?
Nothing. I was saying Liquid. I mean, it's just reiterating the point again. Liquid is trying to beat MIBR at their own game. Because Liquid has a similar kind of mentality, methodical teamwork, different ways to take, A or B, whatever. And against Astralis, I don't think you can beat them at their own game unless they're having a really big off day, which isn't often at all. I think you have to get a little looser when you play against Astralis.
Yeah, you gotta have that star player like just taking over. Like that's why I'm honestly with you, Bears, on MIBR. If anyone's gonna do it, it's gonna be them. Just hoping like On's gonna have a huge game with the Ob, or Stewie's just gonna, be winning every aim fight. I think that's how they win if they're gonna take him down.
Yeah, and you gotta get wild, you got loose, especially if Astralis knows how you play. Yeah, Team Liquid, they know how you play. You can't just play yourself all the time. You got to mix it up once in a while. Don't completely change your identity. When you play a game like Astralis, you have to go outside your comfort zone. You got to do something different for it to work. What you've been doing hasn't been working, so change it up. Do something different. Mix it up.
Yes, fully on board with all that. Riding on the coattails of the Pro League as we move forward, we have our play of the week, grabbing those 2 clips from the Pro League finals. And I'm stuck between 2, so we'll go ahead and roll it, and we'll get your guys' thoughts on which you would pick out of these 2.
Well, let's see. Into the moors of Oscar they go, and he's charging them up. Oh, it's the meat grinder and Oscar.
Wanted to boost up originally, then wanted to stay put and not be seen, but he got blocked out. Naf gets 1 kill back, at least it's still 2-on-2. He's managed to transition toward Emo. That'll give me some time, but that's incredible. He hit both with that no-scope.
Okay, first off, is there a better feeling than this right here in the world?
Oh my gosh!
I don't know.
If you're Mouse Sports, it's amazing. If you Ghost Gaming, you're probably throwing your hands up. Like, why did we just jump through that smoke? We didn't even throw anything down there.
This is genius too. I love this from Naf. It's a very, obviously the collateral is sick, but Naf has been doing this recently. He's thinking outside the box. It's so clever for him to drop a smoke there and have them thinking he's in there. And then, as you see, put one through the spinal cords of 2 of their guys unexpecting. High IQ.
I love his play style.
It's really smart.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna do it because we're a little late, so we're talking.
Anyways, as a player who plays like Beyond Inferno, he's always like making those smoke plays. The more common one is the one in front of car on wall, where he just like throws in front of that half wall and creeps on the left and gets that. And even if it's not a kill, he's getting all that info. Like they're not B and they have banana control, and it just helps their team out so much. He's such a smart player.
No doubt.
Yeah, very smart, as you saw in that one clip, just to show that he's in their opponent's heads a lot. You know, in order to make the play that he did work, he has to do it and not be scared to do it. No hesitation. So he tossed the smoke, jumped across, he got info for his teammate. He changed up the spot because, you know, a high-profile match 2-on-2, most people will be almost cement shoes. They would rather stick and play it safe than do a crazy move like what he did with smoke and then hop across. You know, he's risking it. But he knew the pros and cons. He knew that the enemy thought, okay, he just smoked himself out. He's probably trying to delay the bomb as long as possible so his teammate can make off the banana. So Naf knew that they knew that. And that's how you know, he was one step ahead because it worked so well.
It's high risk, high reward.
Yeah, high risk, high reward.
You know?
And you know, actually, it's maybe not even that big of a risk because it's a 2-on-2 situation, and they knew he was in that spot. So he's either gonna get bombarded by nades or eventually get flushed out. You know, if he's lucky. So he already had a person in banana. So yeah, it's a little risk. I think there's a little risk definitely involved for doing that, but it seems like it was not as risky as maybe you could think of it be a risk play.
Yeah.
All the pieces put together.
He probably could have like posted up on Khan and like maybe went 1-for-1 right there, but I think he has such a good read on like knowing what the other team's going to think, like you said, where he's always playing like around in these smokes that instead of clearing emo, they see the smoke new box and they're just both turned watching it, and he just easily, you know, gets that double. Not easily, it's a 2-for-1, but you know what I mean.
It almost looks easy, but it's Naf is such a smart player to me, and I see him on occasions, and I remember this in several instances watching him play at IM Chicago, specifically against Astralis, where he makes these like out of the box plays. And like these sort of plays, whatever they may be or look like, are like seriously, they're game changers. You know what I mean? And I feel like Naf is a player that embodies that in a way. He's like just, I see him doing it more consistently more and more, and he's just so freaking slippery, like with how he pulls it off. It's a joy to watch. Seriously.
Yeah.
Play style.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm going with the IQ over the firepower in this sense. I think after talking it over.
Yeah. I mean, now he didn't have to move his reticle. It's whatever.
It's just a good feeling.
It's nice. It's huge for his team to get that much money, but I mean, Naf's plays are just always insane. Yeah.
Yeah. Anytime you could mow someone down with a shotty is just, I love it. It's good for the soul. You know what I mean? It's some soul food.
Yeah.
One last thing real quick before we wrap up. I saw this tweet. I thought it was pretty funny. If we could pull it up right now. Tell me right now, by looking this, if it looks like Stunna is about to take a Gatorade splash to the head.
Looks like he's about to get mugged. About to hit him over the head and about to get murdered by Zonic. Zonic somewhere, you know. Called him a bad name when they're drinking some night. Who knows?
Yeah, kudos to that guy for
revenge.
spotting that. That's pretty high level. That's some NAF thinking plays. I dig it. All right, guys, that's going to do it for the show. Hunter, thank you so much for coming on as our special guest this week. We really appreciate it. And hope you continue to do big things in the ESCA and just power through Counter-Strike, man. You sticking with this for a while?
Keep the grind up.
Now in the off season, actually, I might try to attend these UGC Halo 3 tournaments. There's a qualifier this Saturday, and CS has been stressful, so it'll be nice to relax, play Halo, and hopefully team with my good friends again. But yeah, I mean, Counter-Strike is definitely what I plan for the long run, and I think I have a pretty good idea of like what I need to do to hopefully, you know, I'm a pro one day again.
No doubt. Yeah, again, right? Well, BabyJ, thank you so much. Hunter, you have a great evening, and we'll be in touch. Erik DeBears, as always, my man, the myth, the legend. Appreciate you having on, and we will see you next week.
Thank you. See you next week. Take it easy.
Adios, my friends.
Adios, amigos.
Oh, there we go. Still got Bears. I love it. Oh my God! How do you recover? The excitement on his face. You could see it in his eyes. Loves it. Loves the reload. That's going to do it for this week's show, guys. We appreciate you for tuning in. As always, see the chat was popping off a little bit. I hear Cranberry Kyle, quick shout out, goes the meat grinder, definitely referring to that player of the week there. As always, guys, we're live Thursday, 2 p.m. Central, bringing you the best of Counter-Strike that week and upcoming. Thank you guys again for watching. My name's Cody Luongo, and I will see you next week.